Retro Game Expo in Norway 2017.
Nå er vi bare noen meter ifra alt, jeg vil si.
Ja, omtrent.
Omtrent, ja. Jeg har ikke vært der før. Jeg har kjørt forbi her sikkert, men det er lenge siden.
Så nå hadde det bare blitt... Måtte jo fått den ut på 8 A4-ark med bare et par linjer på hvert ark. Det var løst ikke, så dreit jeg i det. Få program i disken der i den klar. Dreit jeg. Timeplan. Og hvis jeg må drite dørene åpne på lørdag. 11:30 er det første.
Ja, det er jo 40 minutter, det.
Ja, jeg tar med alt. Men den her ser jeg ordentlig frem til. Det er Rob Hubbard og Matt Gray i 264-musikkene. Det er jeg veldig interessert i. Det blir kanskje stående og prate en del med også ute. De sitter jo ved et bord ute i hallen. Men det er veldig spesielt. Og så slapp faen Square Enix. Square Enix har kjøpt opp Taito, vet du. Det er den som lagde arcade-spill på 80-tallet. Så har de faen slett et mobilspill som er, men du husker de for det? For sånne ting.
Jeg pleier å variere litt på de. Ikke for mye, men sånn at det er like mange siffer bakover. Så jeg må nødt til å ha en 12 og 15. Går innover det. Hvor begynner det skje noe, vet du? Nå må dere begynne å gå.
Ja, der!
Forhåndsbetalt! Venstre side! De som skal kjøpe billett! Høyre side!
Translate that to Crow.
40,000 kroner!
There we go. My name's Gerard. I'm the completionist on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm Alex. I do Super Beard Brothers with Gerard, and I run a Pokemon channel with Kelly called The Dex.
And I'm Kelly. I do the decks.
Yeah, we're from a place called America.
Los Angeles, California. We work all together in the same YouTube office, and we've been working together for years now, about 5 years. Wow.
Yeah.
So
A long 5 years.
we're here, we're chilling. Some of you probably know who we are, I hope. But we're gonna do Q&A panel. We're gonna chill out. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk shop. I'm sure that you guys have some questions. But yeah, let's dive in. We'll do that long form answer.
Yeah, we'll do some.
Last time I shaved, the new season of the completion started in January. Intro debuted around then, but we filmed it in, I think,
Like November.
November. So the last time I shaved was November. Before that, it'd been like years before I'd shaved.
The more valid question is, once you shave, how long does it take for the beard?
About 2 weeks.
Think about that. Imagine if that was a thing. That's like the Santa Claus. Have you seen that movie?
I'm the Santa Claus. Scott Calvin. Not my proudest statement I've ever said in a panel, I'll admit. Scott Calvin. Scott Calvin, yes. Tim Allen. Let's talk about some more esoteric 90s movies. Let's just move on to the gentleman wearing the Pikachu hat.
You said it had been years since you shaved, but I talked to you 15 minutes last year at this place, and I didn't realize it was you because you had shaved.
Yeah, I shaved. So I usually oh damn, damn trauma alert. Call Keemstar. Let's get right to the news. So when I came to Norway last year, he's gonna see this and be like, all right, here we go. You don't scare me, Keemstar. I know you're watching the retro Spillmessen stream right now.
Yeah. You have been appearing several times on Game Grumps.
Yeah.
Will you be doing that more?
You have to ask them. I always tell them, I'm like, yo, call me. Let's hang out.
So it's like just call we're buddies.
Yeah. They'll call me like usually it's like once a year. I kind of cameo on something.
Yeah.
Or they'll call me in the middle of an episode and be like, hey, what's up, Gerard? You want to talk to us? I'm like, all right, yeah, what's up? They've been super busy.
Yeah.
I know Aaron and Danny have been filming that YouTube Red Show,
Yes.
and they just finished filming that, and their office is being remodeled, and Scared of Care's around the corner. What's that?
They tour, right?
They've been tour. They just started their tour for
Yes.
Ninja Sex Party and for Starbomb, so those dudes are super duper busy. I wish I could see them more often because they're some of my closest friends, but they're so busy.
Yeah.
Every time I see them, I like hug them and hold them for like 5 minutes because I can feel them. They're doing great, but they're just like I think they haven't slept. Probably.
Well, a lot of the time too, like.
Don't even get me started.
I will give you on that. I will give you that. But the thing is that the Simpsons universe, in my opinion, doesn't really move anywhere. Whereas with like physically, they go nowhere, right? But Pokemon, they're like, we're gonna go to this awesome
I actually do
place.
think Ash is 11 now.
He had a birthday?
Yeah, he did.
Mazel tov. I'm so happy for him.
But honestly, yes, the Pokemon anime for a while was 99% filler, and it still is a lot of filler. However, it's much more entertaining filler now. Pokemon X and Y was a big jump in quality. X, Y, and Z was an even bigger jump in quality. And Pokemon Sun and Moon anime is wild. It's crazy. The animation is totally different. It's hilarious. It's weird, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
It's time to give it another look.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it very, very much.
Yeah, but say whatever you want about it. I will just say that at the very least, Digimon didn't give us Electric Soldier Aragon and sent 600 children to hospital.
It's a sham! That was a case of mass hysteria.
Check out our Porygon episode if you want a little bit more info on that. I promise it wasn't as bad as all that.
Yeah, nice tattoo.
Give me the backside. There we go. That's some new stuff. What's up, man? That's awesome.
Get me in touch with your tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Fellow gamers.
Sure.
Question for all of you.
Yeah.
Do you consider Bert and Ernie Muppets?
Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
Yes.
Do we consider them Muppets?
Do you consider them Muppets?
Like canonically in the Muppets crew?
It's
or
tough.
Just like
are they defined as Muppets?
It's tough.
They're Jim Henson puppets, right?
Yeah, but it's
right,
tough.
but they were not on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough call.
I guess okay, let's take Bert and Ernie for a second, and let's classify them by maybe a race or a type of person.
Let's not get into race.
Hold on. Muppets and race at this point are the same thing. So
what do you mean?
All right, I'm gonna say something awful. No.
What?
No. I'm just kidding.
All right.
If that's the case, then to me, in the Muppet universe, if you will, they're all Muppets. Whether or not they're on the Muppet Show is kind of like Big Bird, I'd say, is a Muppet because
I've got to disagree with my esteemed colleague here, but I'm gonna let you finish.
they're made by the same company. They're all made in the same area.
Sure.
The same actors who are on Sesame Street are also some of the same people who operate the Muppets. It's just it represents.
Okay, but you know what? You know what?
Sure.
The difference between Bert and Ernie and the other Muppets that are actually really Muppets is that Bert and Ernie don't know they're on camera. Bert and Ernie are just characters in a show, you know what I mean? The Muppets are entertainers. Fozzie's a stand-up comedian.
I feel like that's their comedy group name. You know?
Muppets? Sure. Yeah, like the Beatles.
Right, but in the way
just because they're the same race as
the race of puppets.
Yeah, just because they're the same race, they're just two unassuming dudes who are trying to get over their issues together. And they love to count.
Let's take a tiny
and they love to read short words.
Let's just take a step back.
Do chores around the house.
We have
a fun laugh, but that's not.
You wanted this, didn't you, Norm?
Yeah.
I feel like the Muppets are an acting troupe, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you know, all the Muppets movies, Bert and Ernie will never show up in any of the Muppets movies. They'll never show up in any like show that's called The Muppets.
Yeah.
They're on Sesame Street, and they are Jim Henson puppets. They're well beloved and they're wonderful, but I wouldn't call them Muppets because they don't talk.
I guess we just need we need to
No, we cannot continue.
That's why it's a question.
We have to take this. We have to take this to the bar because this is
sidebar later tonight. Drinks on me. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good question, though.
Oh my God! All right,
more questions.
There was one in the back that I saw that was somebody who hadn't asked before. You in the back? Yeah.
I love questions like that.
With YouTube ad revenues going down, and a lot of smaller creators moving over to Patreon to get their money, what do you think YouTube can do to either help smaller creators and incentivize smaller creators on YouTube?
Guys, welcome to the How to Live Your Life as a YouTuber panel. We'll be here for the next 6.5 hours talking about how to change the YouTube algorithms.
I have like a really sad and scary thing. I don't honestly think YouTube wants to help small creators.
That is correct.
Which is unfortunate.
That is correct.
What could they do though? I think they could. They have a tip jar. I don't even know if they still have the tip jar. But that's like, I put the tip jar out for the entire time that the tip jar existed. I mentioned it even a few times in the videos.
I think I made $6.
I think I made 48 cents in the tip jar. But I think that they need to, if they want to do it, they need to compete with Patreon. They need to compete with GameWisp. They need to be able to serve rewards. Like, imagine if you could come to my YouTube channel and you can only see certain videos if you're on a certain tier of donation. I think that's the thing that you could do to really help a small YouTuber out without taking them off YouTube to someplace like Patreon. But are they going to do that? I don't think so. They don't even know how their own algorithm works.
A lot of the small content creators who are not I don't want to use the word complain because complain is not what we're doing. Like,
it's a criticism of the platform.
It's a criticism of the platform. It generally, when this whole adpocalypse thing happened, you had content creators go from making a decent living to literally as if they had one subscriber, and the views like meant nothing. And so you have to look at it from the perspective of, as a small content creator, how do I survive? Because we put all our chips in this. As a team, we put our chips in together, and we've been working through these pains. And luckily, we had a lot of safety nets. When the adpocalypse happened, you know, we had Patreon, we had GameWisp, we've got the Big Bad Bosses album and CDs and merchandise and brand deals, and that's how we've survived. We've been very fortunate. But there's a lot of people who you guys probably know and love.
Great shows, high production value, really entertaining.
Who are quietly suffering because they don't want everyone to worry about them. And that's the biggest thing I always say. The reason why we don't talk about the adpocalypse is not because it's like, well, if we don't talk about it, it'll go away. It's because it's not your problem to worry about us. It's our job to provide content.
It's our job to be businessmen as well as we are entertainers. That's the whole promise of YouTube, is that you're doing it yourself.
And so for those who are struggling starting out and those who were doing all right and then struggling, they're not going to say anything, but you can kind of know that, yes, they need your help.
Yeah.
And one day YouTube will figure it out, and if not, that's okay. But we'll have to work together.
We could go much deeper onto this topic, but I hope that sort of answers your question.
Yeah. Well, I think we have time for one more question, but just as a general thing.
Neste er jo de halv to, ja. Her er klokka 1:15 nå. Det er 3 kvarter igjen da.
Ja, 3 kvarter.
Skal vi bare gå rundt sånn da, eller?
Ja, det er bare å ta seg god tid. Vi kommer til å ha mye tid å slå i hjel senere i dag.
Ja.
Men ja, det er veldig mye å være sånne steiner som det er, så selger konsoler. Jeg er ikke så interessert i, for nå eier jeg de fleste gamle konsolene. Jeg har de der Everdrive-cartridgene, så jeg kjøper ikke noe spill og sånt.
Nei.
Det er uansett hjemme.
Nå skal jeg bare gå på se.
Da har vi han gaming-historien, vet du. Det er han som er det seneste i dag, for...
Ja.
Skal vi se, ja. 5:30 til 7:30, han vil jeg også gjerne ha med meg.
Ja, jeg skal stikke bort til en butikk i mellomtiden da, så en sure sild blant annet. Den Fancy Collection, har du det?
Det er ikke nei. Det er jo ikke hele sammen 4-6 og en bordklokke.
Ja. Og så er den oppå der den, da.
Den fungerer bare på japansk.
Ja.
Nei.
Ja, bort forbi her.
Det er vanskelig veldig.
Den der har jeg sett før når folk har smakt på. Sånn kjekslotteri.
Det er noe for han Tinnaran.
Ja.
Noe for han Tinnaran.
Ja, kan vi prøve noen spiller, eller?
Jeg tror ikke det.
Den tenkte jeg på.
Ja. Det er japansk original.
Ja, det er det jeg tenkte på, for det er jo egentlig samme som den der mastersystemet.
Nei, det er NES.
Litt annerledes.
Det er NES, originalen Nintendo.
Ja, men tenk på det er den japanske varianten. Så.
Ja.
Bare en der også.
Disse er japanske, de fleste.
Ja, ser du. Du har første enda, har du ikke det?
Jo, men jeg har den nye modellen, den der PlayStation 1. Det er den jeg har nå. Jeg skulle gjerne hatt en Sony også, egentlig, men...
750? Ja, han blir fikset på nytt, han da, kanskje?
Det er idiotisk pris.
Kanskje 300 kroner eller noe sånt nå? Chat, står det.
1300 for en Super Nintendo. Jeg kjøpte en for 1000 på Expo, og jeg synes det var dyrt.
Du kjøper genser og capser og topper og...
Noen har lyst til å kjøpe det, så må det være med sånn.
Ja, det er godt. Du kan kjøpe mye av det like i Sverige på grensa blant annet, og det er fortsatt dyrt der også. Grassmonkey.
Det er veldig vanskelig å finne noen gamle Commodore. Det er stort sett
Goonies. Goonies, husker du det?
Ja, det er masse Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars og Transformers.
Nå kan det nye...
Jeg fant en bra retroklokke i fjor, tror jeg, som jeg kjøpte. Hva faen var det den var?
Hallo.
Hallo. Det er lite å finne for oss gamle datanerver.
Ja, Commodore er ikke så mye av. Det meste jeg har er jo PlayStation 1.
I fjor så visste jeg en sjelden part her. Men så har det vært nesten 100 000. Spørsmålet er her i år.
Hva da?
Jo da, den ligger i glassen.
Ja. Hva ser jeg borte? Hva er den, ja? Skal vi ta sånn du i natt, eller? Stikker du bort i natt?
Ja, du kan lese den her sånn. Det er, hvor mange er det? Det er bare 26, ja. Det finnes bare 26 stykker av de.
Ja, ikke sant.
Det koster...
Det var ikke en konsol også, som var gull-blakt også?
Ja, det er mulig. Det er ikke bare det at den er gull, men det er selve spillet. Det er bare en sånn konkurranse-edition. Så den inneholder første banen i Super Mario, første banen i Excite Bike og første banen i Parallellspill. Så ble brukt i en konkurranse. Og vinnerne vant sånn gullkassett. Det er bare 26 stykker av, og det er bare helt idiot. Det er ikke noe spiller ikke noe å ha, det er bare første bane i noen forskjellige spill. Men den er jo så ekstremt sjelden, og samlerne er helt idioter. Så den gikk... Han ene de snakket med på Game Chasers, han fortalte jo at han hadde jo gitt $10,000 for en sånn... Det er jo helt sykt.
Ja, en Commodore 64 der jo.
Ja, Ja, du ser ja på fotoen. Det vil nok være et langbord her et sted med gamle datamaskiner, skjønner du. Det hadde de i hvert fall i fjor. Så det går an. Der er mye gammelt kult du kan prøve.
Ja. Jaguar, jeg har ikke sett den her på nært hold før.
Ja, ikke sant?
Ja.
Da kan vi komme noe her og
Kjente faen. Patten Espen var ganske artig i fjor i hvert fall. Brental Floss, det er han der musikeren som har konsert i kveld. Han snakker i morgen.
Ja.
The Game Chasers, de vi har med, de var jo sent i morgen, de også selvfølgelig. Så...
Ja, de som var i stad, det var
de.
Ja. Man må ha CRT-TV for å få brukt den, vet du. Ja, jeg vet det. Det er noen som prater om at de skal prøve å lage system så du kan bruke det på flatskjermer også. Da må de lage sette film over flatskjermen da.
Det er blitt laget.
Er det, ja?
Ja. Det fungerer ikke, det er ikke samme prinsipp i... Altså, jeg mener, det er ikke laget noen system som... Du får ikke de gamle pistolene til å virke på flatskjerm, men det har blitt laget egne pistoler som fungerer på flatskjerm. Det er det laget.
Ja, for de har egne sensorer, de vet du.
Ja, de der har bare en lyssensor. De nye som fungerer på flatskjerm har faktisk kamera som faktisk ser nøyaktig hvor du skyter den. Det er sånn det må være.
Nei, jeg husker de lyset som kom gjennom TV-en en gangen. Det er derfor TV var en bildekanon, holdt jeg på å si.
Ja.
Det var det var. Ultramaskin. Det sorte der borte. Så han hadde broderen et par stykker av før. Så du må switche på en bryter på den. Du kan bruke på 2 systemer til det. Det var sånne uoriginale spill igjen da. Det er Nintendo Entertainment System eller hva det heter for en gang. Ja. De fungerer det, ja.
Kjempelige de her.
sånn, ja. Egen konsoll, og elektrisk. Det var god å ha for sånn, altså.
Hvis du virker lyst på den, så kjøper du den.
Nå er jo jeg fått på døra nå, da. Plutselig er det døra til leiligheten der, da.
Kjøpte guttungen til søsteren min, vet du.
Ja, det er noe lim på den der, kanskje.
Ja, skruer.
Ja, skruer, ja.
Du må jo ødelegge døra for hengene.
Ja, men det vet du.
Det er litt sånn. Ja, det er magen av litt. Jeg prøvde den her forrige gang.
Ja. Og så han ene svensken av de der YouTube-programmet, han hadde sånn, han hadde kjøpt på taket for sånne monitorer. Ja.
Det har ikke tatt lang tid før det har blitt ordentlig i år. Fader, det var slutten av mai i år. Det var ikke noe særlig med vår i år.
Ja. Jeg er ute og går en tur. Jeg tror vi kjente nabolaget. Går til butikk, tenker jeg, før det stenger. Og er tilbake igjen og svetter litt mer.
I think that's an interesting question. I think what happened on the C64 was originally it was just kind of kiddie music on little games, but then I think that culture developed, and mainly before the demo scene really took off, the culture started to develop, and there was a
Change the mic. That one. Change mic. Change mic.
Change mic?
Yeah.
That culture started to develop, I think, around the C64 with some of the crazy games that were coming out at the time, in the mid to late 80s, and the culture to me kind of took over the whole business, and that's why maybe people still remember it, because of the culture that was involved.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was to do with the fact that SID was actually a proper synth, rather than other machines at the time just had the usual bleeps. And obviously we're talking in mid to late 80s, synth music was the big thing. I think that's why it stood the test of time. Obviously you've got records coming out now with everyone's using those SID chip sounds. I mean, the most obvious example is what we all did to get around the fact that there was only 3 channels. To get a chord, you needed to plex the notes really quickly, and that's, you've got the famous sort of arpeggiated sound. You hear that on records all the time now. Half the producers using it probably weren't even born at the time. So,
60 hertz wobble chord.
60, yeah, well, yeah. You could do 3 or 4. I used to do four notes, just to,
3 or 4 note wobble chord, 60 hertz.
Get the root note up on another octave. Are all these other mics live? That's probably why we're getting feedback. I don't know. That's why I think it stood the test of time, because it was a proper synth, albeit 3 channels. Whereas all the other, as far as I was concerned, all the other machines at the time, the sound chips were just rubbish.
Rubbish is another word for pish.
Pish, yeah, pish. I could have said something stronger, but yeah, pish. I like it. Yeah, does that sort of, yeah. Okay, anyone else?
In the back.
What's your favorite piece you've made so far of music?
Ooh, tapping into the ego there a bit, yeah. Well, it's definitely something from Last Ninja 2. I don't know, it changes. Obviously I like the Central Park tracks, those two, because I did those first. But I think, having done the remakes, my favourite now is the sewers in-game. Hence it's 10 minutes long, because I just indulged myself. Went off, but yeah, it's those really. But it does change, you know. One week it can be this, the next week, but it's going to be something from Last Ninja 2. Yeah, I think I hit my peak early on. It was all downhill from there.
Sure, Rob. I think it's a tough question. There's maybe 3 or 4 that for me would stand out. Obviously, I think Sanction has to be one of them.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Ken Tiller, and then I've been recently doing a remake of Flash Gordon, and that's got quite a lot of stuff in it as well.
I always liked that Flash Gordon. It influenced me a lot. Yeah, I like that. The game was. Oh, well, I can't remember the game. the music. I remember getting that. I got that Christmas '86, maybe could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just used to load it up for the music. It's great. There's a guy.
Is there any pieces you made that became ended up differently than you imagined because of the limitations of the time?
Virtually all of them. From playing it on a little Casio keyboard, you know, really basic sound. Luckily, it always sounded better than it did on the keyboard, you know. Whereas if I'd have been a guitar player or something like that at the time, I would have been disappointed with going from electric to. So, luckily, by doing it that way, whatever you did on the SID sounded better than what you get off of the Casio keyboard, you know. It literally just was a keyboard to work out melodies on and chords. So, yeah, I mean, were there ones that was disappointed with the end result? Yeah, a lot. Normally because of the time pressure, or just maybe getting a bit jaded. I don't know quite how I got jaded within 18 months, but I did. So, yeah, by and large, it was more impressive than what. If you'd heard the original stuff off the keyboard, it wouldn't have been any good. Yeah. So you're just back to basic bleeps and things. Yeah.
So I'm curious. So oh, it's off.
Speak
well, I
up.
can shout.
We can hear you.
So I'm curious. Can you take us through the process of doing a song on the Commodore 64, and maybe how you were relating to other developers? Like, how long did it take, and how did you communicate with other developers back then, and maybe how the community was at large? Like, did you sit at home, or did you were at the studio, or did you email each other? But obviously,
there's no email back then.
Well, there
was a dreadful thing called CompuNet, which would send your phone bills through the roof, absolutely sky high. I was on CompuNet for a while, and then I started seeing the phone bills.
Yeah, well, I had a separate line for CompuNet, and that's same thing.
But to answer your question, the early 80s, I was working at home all the time, and sometimes I would get a description from the programmer over the phone, and that would be all. And I never saw the demo, I never saw the final game, and I would just do something, post it off on a cassette or a disc, and then I'd send an invoice for, to get the money, and then I'd start the phone calls. Where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? And sometimes I would go and visit the developer, like Firebird or Mastertronics, or sometimes I'd go and visit the programmer, take a look at what they were doing, and actually talk about what they were trying to do, and come up with something that way. And later on I worked for Electronic Arts in-house, and so obviously that was a different thing where I was with the developer all the time. So
yeah, it's very, if you're working in-house somewhere, then you're nearly always in on what's going on. You'll see graphics, storyboards. But if you're working freelance, same thing. It would just be a phone conversation with either the programmer or maybe the guy heading up the development team, and they just give you a rough idea. I didn't get certainly didn't get sent screenshots and things like that. Or the most personal probably was Stavros coming down from, with the guy Paul from Thalamus, and just coming to my house and loading up the game, and then that was for Quedex, and that would about been that was as much as you would get. But he wasn't really very specific about the music. I just had a free hand on it, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which was good in a way.
Also, sometimes they would ask for very specific pieces for you to try to kind of rip off, but not rip off totally.
Yeah.
So there was a few things that were ripped off, but not ripped off totally.
Yeah.
Because there was like vague areas of copyright and stuff back then.
Yeah, there were loads of tracks that came out that were actual cover versions, you know, and I don't know how they avoided so much legal issues, but I don't think I ever got asked to cover anything.
I got asked to do a few things.
Well, you did Zulu.
I did Zulu.
Yeah.
I think I did 19 as well.
Oh, right.
Track 19.
Yeah, I may have inadvertently covered a few things, accidentally. But yeah, most of the time, I mean, with something like Driller, it was just a case of it just needs to be a very long piece, and so it was pretty freehand. And Last Ninja, I just did what I wanted, so, and luckily they liked it.
I'm just wondering how you started doing like video game music. Like, how did you end up doing that?
For me, it was just a case of I just completely drifted into it by accident. You know, it wasn't planned. I was working as a musician doing gigs, and maybe 4 nights a week, and all the magazines were saying that if you're a musician, you got to get into computers, and so I looked at what was available, and I just had to get C64. I could have got like this thing called a Memo Tech, or there was like an Acorn something or other, you know, Spectrum, but I got a C64, and then I became very intrigued by the programming side of it. There's a lot of interplay between music and math, I suppose, math and programming. And the programming was quite intriguing to me because you'd like type a line of BASIC, and then the computer would tell you, no, you are an idiot. This is not going to work. Syntax error or something. And then, cut a long story short, to get anything to happen, you learn assembly language, and so I learned assembly language with a book called Dr. Watson's 6502 Programming Primer or something like that. And, you know, once you start then doing that, the thing starts crashing all the time, and that becomes intriguing as well, you know. And it took me ages to understand interrupts. There was nowhere to go to try to ask, what is this interrupts thing? How does this work?
Well, that was the biggest learning curve. That was the biggest learning curve.
And I read that. I had the hardware manual, and I read the registers. I read that about 10 million times. I still couldn't make sense of it. But then, just one day, something clicked, and it suddenly made sense, and it all started to work. And then, once you kind of figure out how the interrupts work, then that just opens. It was like opening the floodgates for me, because then it's all of a sudden I can update a SID register at 60 times a second. Oh, that means I can get pulse width modulation going. Okay, that means I can then, you know, get slides on the pitch and all this other kind of crazy stuff, you know. So What was the question?
Well, that's the important thing.
Trying to reach your music today. Like, I remember about 20 years ago there was this collection called Back in Time, a few CDs, and I think Matt is working on something now today. Has there been any attempt to try and bring this back now, especially the Back in Time CDs? Or have you tried to do, pretty much along this, making the music accessible in a somewhat slightly updated format? Because I remember there was, you revisited some of your older work for the Back in Time CDs, for example, and then Matt is doing his work in his corner.
That's an interesting question. I've been working on some orchestral scores of some of the old music, plus some more, more modern things that I've been doing, and hopefully there might be an orchestral concert might come out of this. Who knows? These things are always a little nebulous, shall we say, whether or not these things happen. But I did an orchestral version of one piece for that was played with an orchestra in Leipzig, Germany, and that kind of hearing that live with an orchestra was quite a thrilling experience. Once you hear a massive string section live, it's pretty awesome. In fact, if anybody has never seen a full symphony orchestra in a decent hall, then they're really missing out on a fantastic oral experience. So, going back to the Amiga briefly, there was a film called Bedroom to Billions and a follow-up called Bedroom to Billions, The Amiga Years. And if anybody has not seen that movie, then I would highly recommend it, because I was telling somebody earlier, it just captures a whole vibe of what was going on in Silicon Valley during that period of the 80s. And it's just a really, really well done film that shows Jim Miner and R.J. Michael and all those guys. So if anybody hasn't seen that, I would recommend doing that. Take a couple of hours to watch it. Well worth it.
Yeah. So did you did some music for that? You did some music for one?
Not really, no. I did some on the first film.
Oh, right, the first one, yeah. Going back to, obviously, I've done quite a lot of updating. Done over 50 of them now, so. To me, it's not really about necessarily bringing them up to date, it's just about trying to do what you couldn't do then. If at the time I could have put real drums in, then I would have done, rather than trying to find a way around it. But synth-wise, and it's you still keeping the essence of the SID in there, I think, because that's what they are. If you take that out completely, then
it's lost its soul.
Yeah, exactly. So I try and sort of keep the bulk of it in, or the key bits, and just lose the bits that were just, not really. It's sort of superfluous to requirements. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to be doing more of that. Well, not hopefully, I am.
One quick follow-up. You have this CD out. Do you have any copies here for sale?
No, I don't, because they're at the manufacturers. So, and as soon as I get them back, they're going out sort of towards the end of next month. But I don't have any. Otherwise, I would be here selling them. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question back in the audience.
Skal bare ha du først. Ja, det var en gammel unnskyldning av det, da guttunger har satt og spilte. Jeg skal bare bli. Det var ikke noe ille å si det da. Nei, men jeg gidder ikke ha Nintendo-t-skjorter, altså. Nei, det er til barn nå, det ser du. Ser tilbake til NES-tiden.
Sant. Om några level så kommer det låsa upp boost för dagen.
Nej, bara kika.
Så man kan använda den här R2.
Ja, Xbox. Skal vi se på det, så vi tar neste?
Ja, jeg vil gjerne se hva det er.
Ja. Noe rollespill kanskje, eller ikke? Er det en mellomting av det og sånn samarbeid?
Nei, det ser ut som det er sånn Super Smash Bros. $2,500. Vær så god. De er helt syke, vet du. Men jeg har...
Ja, den kan jeg leve med på den prisen her, men...
Jeg er litt interessert i den, tror jeg, eller?
Ja, den er jo også ganske bra, det spillet.
Det er veldig bra.
Ja, det er sikkert... Er det diskettversjon, da? Australsk og europeisk versjon?
Det er Amiga, vet du. Det er jo Amiga. Men ærlig talt, Shadow of the Beast 3 er ikke verdt så mye.
Ja, toeren. Toeren er med.
Ja, det er mer skjønt da, hvis den hadde kostet jævla mye.
Ja.
Den har jeg, heldigvis.
Ja. Silkworm, husker du ikke det?
Jo da.
Helikopterspillet. Eller du fløy over bakken.
Så mye, altså. Bare se hvor skadet den er.
Ja.
200 kroner.
Slitasjen. Ja, 100 kroner kanskje.
50 lopp.
Det der hadde jeg en av toeren på. Det var jo selvfølgelig pirat, ja, men...
Ja, selvfølgelig. Det aller meste her har jeg hatt som piratkopi.
Det fikk jeg ikke spilt før. Wasteland fikk jeg aldri spilt før.
Nei. Og Captain Blood, det er ikke det jeg trodde det var.
PlayStation da, det har det vel kanskje mye av.
Jeg tror jeg har det meste det vil ha der oppe.
Fra 50 til 300, så det er 15, er det 150? Det er ikke 1500 på det.
Nei, det er
15 000, tenker jeg.
Men det er moro å se at de har Amiga på Commodore 64 i det hele tatt, for de hadde ikke det hele tatt i fjor.
Ja. Hva er det for noe?
Det er kontrollen til... Nå husker jeg ikke hvert, er det Atari 26, eller det er en veldig tidlig kontroller også.
Jeg ser det sånn der... Aldri rart borti før.
Ja. Like dine. Jævlig autokorrekt. Doom 2. Det var Doom 2, altså.
Ja. Det er en litt lenger opp der.
Ja, bare Doom 2, altså.
Hvor mye var det står der? Det fant dere ikke?
Nei, det er bare Doom 2, alt sammen.
Nei, ja, sånn. Det ligger til 100 kroner og 200 og...
Ja.
Men der er den som ligner på den. Nå er det 280.
Ja, ja, der var det faen meg.
Han er ikke helt strøket i coveret, men det er ikke stygt heller.
Det er en italiensk versjon, den ser pen ut den også. Det blir mye på super.
Er det anime du skal ha, eller?
Nei, faen.
Det er sånn Punisher og sånn da.
Punisher er noe mer i nærheten, men der har jeg har en sånn feit bok. Nei, altså, de som er bra historier, de er bra historier, men det der vanlige rælet, det er...
Ja. Det er 2 typer ut av den, ja. Men den der...
Ja, det finnes den er en lang serie. Jeg lastet med en samling av det. Jeg har lest det, så det er ikke så bra.
Flere sanger enn det var på, for den kommer til å gå ikke verdi på grunn av samleobjekt. Det er jo forfengt på, så det er veldig gammel.
10 år. Det er altså Lea på 10,5 år, Maiken på 11 og Amina Sabrin på 10 år. Hvis dere kan gå opp til barnehageområdet, så har det nok en premie der.
Det er hyggelig mange versjoner av den der.
Ligner veldig på Commodore 64 og sånn dette. Ja. Men jeg tror lyden er helt forferdelig i forhold.
Altså, man tenker at Nintendo hadde en utgave.
Ja.
Amiga hadde en utgave.
Ja.
Det var på et spilleautomat der også. Det er sikkert flere andre typer også.
Spilleautomaten var jo originalen.
Ja, det var det som var originalen.
Og vi spåner uendelig, vet du. Oi, sorry, det er sprite-kollisjon. Jeg dør med... Jeg ville prøve på å se på den sprite-kollisjonen.
Ja, det er samme sted med 64 med sprite.
Sprite med 64 kunne i hvert fall overlappe ordentlig.
Ja, den der, jeg så det der var oppi hverandre.
De fikk litt kritikk for alle de her.
Det var det jeg måtte se på, derfor jeg gikk tilbake og døde på. Jeg måtte se på det. Og så dør du på første tørsten.
Ja.
Du hadde egentlig 2 liv. Eller...
Ja, det var to streker på toppen eller nede.
Ja, for du mistet rustningen, så han gikk i underbuksa etter et trepp, og så dør du.
Da mistet han ikke noen ting.
Nei, her dør du med en gang.
Jeg har tatt med snarvei.
Altså, Commodore 64 var ganske unik.
Jo, men sånn, ja, det skjønner jeg, de prøvde å lage, det er veldig mange som lager noe.
De fleste er nok mer inspirert av Spektrum.
Ja, kanskje.
For veldig mange av de maskinene er jo Z80-basert. MS6 for eksempel er Z80, Spektrum er Z80. Så det er nok mye mer der.
Det er greit nok, så det er hvem blir inspirert av ting, men det er sånn, du tenker ikke så inn i markedet og helt poenget. Men
Stikk en tur der hvis du vil delta. Det er altså nidhogg-konkurranse i komplettavdelingen med premier.
Ja, bare gå for det.
Some drugs. Lean med sånn jævla drink.
Voldsomt til viming, ja.
Ja, skarp syvendere også.
Jeg så det manglet en del ting. Jeg var bak her. Får ikke se på kamera, vet du, så blinker skjermene. Ja. Den der en boblebryter litt. Husker det. Det gikk veldig fort i stykker også, de.
Ja, jeg skal opp. Han ikke klatre når han har handlet. Er det mulig? Der er han klatre. Helt håpløst.
Ja, vi skal unngå de her tønnene, vet du. Du hadde en nøkkel her nede du skulle hente.
Ja, det er en hammer. Jeg kan bruke den hvis jeg vil.
Ja, hammer, ja. Det er en nøkkel, ja.
Jeg må opp her, kanskje.
Så runder det på under et halvt minutt.
Best!
Ja, ja, bra. Jeg vet ikke hvor mange brett det er der, men...
Det skal være 5, tror jeg. Om det går
See that? Yeah.
Ja, det er kul, da.
Ja. Det så ut som den var full av ask og sot. Jeg lurte på hvor i helvete har den vært oppbevart her.
Ja, custom-lakka. Du kan sikkert bestille noen nye deksel, du har...
Nei, jeg har ikke gjort det. Men
No one listened to it or even got it. So...
Det må du prøve, ja. Ja, det hadde jeg faen på den der Texas-maskinen. Ja. Du kunne ha sånne samme joystick-type.
Ja, du kan det, ja.
Nei, det var Big 20. Big 20 hadde jeg sånn på. Det var jo alle sammen. Det er demoen på den, eller?
Antageligvis, men... Og så startet det. Den er noe på...
Ja, boksehanske.
Ja, det er den der jævla... Der, ja. Hourglass.
Sånn slå på den her. Jeg er for svær i fingrene, vet du.
Få prøve den.
Ja.
Det kan jeg se på.
Det er godt du oppdaget den, da. Jeg har aldri sett sånn. Jeg har sett det i bladet før, men jeg har ikke sett det ordentlig i butikkene engang.
Så skal du så stå og spille sånn.
Da tar jeg kontrollen der, ja.
Det må jeg ha bildet.
Ja, det hadde... Nå må vi ta det bildet. Det var godt. Jeg husker det bare å spille det med bare på kontrollen alene, det var køddent.
Ja, men det er ikke noen motion control eller noe sånt nå, du skal fortsatt spille her.
Ja.
Så det er helt håpløst.
Det er bare en gimmick.
Ja, det er det det er. Altså, du må styre med tiltak. Du får ikke brukt begge hendene.
Ja.
Det er helt sjanseløst.
Ja.
Du skal dodge med tiltastene og så slå meg av det samtidig, vet du. Det er jo... Det er dritig.
slo når mitt. Funker det? Det er innebygd sensor i den da.
Det skal ikke være det.
Men han slo.
Det bare var kontrollen. Ja, men det var det jeg merket når jeg satt og prøvde, så gjorde den det bevegelser av seg selv også.
Det må være sånn der gyro et eller annet inni den.
Det skal ikke være, trodde ikke det.
Det må være noe et eller annet inni der som gjør at den reagerer. Det er kjekt ut. Det er fin trim. Ja.
De virtual reality mechanics, det var hard.
Jeg hadde den ikke.
2 spill. Ja, det er noe hand position tracking, ja.
Må være noe der, altså.
Jeg kan gå litt frem på dere. Jeg må nok ha litt mer trening før disse gamle wipeout-musklene smartlockene. Ja, jeg skal ha sånn Samsung Play. Ja.
Lykke til, jeg håper de får matchene.
Jo, takk. Ha det.
Okay, so we're going to talk about hot coffee. Who here is familiar with hot coffee? And not the drink, we're talking about the Grand Theft Auto hot coffee. So quite a bit. So, again, this is a disclaimer. We are going to talk about some sexual content. It's not going to get super controversial, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. But Grand Theft Auto is a game that I think most people are familiar with, and that it's kind of raunchy, kind of pushes the edge. Well, in 2004, Rockstar made Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which was the, let's see, Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3, Vice City. So it was like the 5th game in the series on PS2. 7th installment total. It was the best-selling game of 2004. It has sold 27.5 million copies. It's the best-selling PlayStation 2 game of all time. But this hot coffee incident sparked a lawsuit.
Ja, Pentium der. Nei, ikke Pentium, men Intel. I7. Ja, den er litt mye enn din. Mye av de LED-belysninger inne. Har du bare bygd rundt PC-en og ikke noe lys, du, eller?
Det er et par lys her og der som følger med enkelte av komponentene, men ja, nei, jeg er ikke interessert i å ha noe bling på PC-en, så... Men for eksempel under SSD-slakken på hovedpartet, så er det jo gløder det litt.
Må se hvilken du har, for enten fire.
For en 16-åring fra Skien. Uten mamma. Ja. Så...
I love these of beer. Did you get all of them? Nope. So really expensive. Yeah. But trying to fill out the glitch. Yeah.
Where would you like me to sign?
Ja, t-skjorte. Ja.
Are you console games only, or do you do computer stuff too?
I've dabbled in computer stuff. I did a video series on with Wolfenstein. So I talked about the history of Wolfenstein, but as far as like computer stuff, I haven't really touched it that much.
Well, that's kind of my thing though.
Yeah, I can see from your shirt. Yeah.
So, I want to ask you something. That's a pet peeve of mine, and it came up in your jet round.
Okay.
Yeah. Probotector is the European title of contract.
Right.
Have you heard of Grisor?
Grisor. Yes.
What?
Yes. That was another name for contract.
Yeah, that's right. Most European titles were called Grisor. Only a couple, like in Netherlands. That's Probotector. So these days, when you ask someone on the internet, oh, what was the European version of contract? Oh, Probotector.
They just say Probotector.
Yeah, it's like 1%. There were like 20 versions, and most of them were Grisor. Why is this?
So was it only in Germany? It was called Probotector?
I don't know. It was right here too. The NES version was definitely all over Europe. I only had the Commodore 64 version and the arcade version.
Albansk sak til høyre. Også i bånd så er det en Hyper Neo 64. 64-bit, litt sånn 3D-grafikk à la Nintendo 64-biten da. Du kan bare bygge egen maskin, og så har skjerm, og så har du... Men en Consolize, den mest da, for å koble til TV-en, betaler rundt 3000 kroner for. De Neo Geo stikkene koster rundt 400 kroner, og en multiback, under 5000 kroner totalt. Så har du jo...
Joe car, I didn't really go far. It needs a roll bar. Why would you trust me? I'm smashed. Time man is always late for dinner, and confidence spins like he's sorta drunk. Ear man's a fanboy and a blowhard, and plugman walks like he's sorta plugged. You know what I'm saying? Oh, while these robots have a weakness, it's like a gene in the family line. I said. That's important, or let friends smoke weed and drive. Also important, but most important of all. Listen, friends, don't let Crashman approach a vehicle. No, I'm seductive. Let me go unobstructed. I'm self-destructive. That's where they call me Crashman. Will someone stop me? Pick me up quick and drunk. Be right, man. Don't rock me. See where they call me Crashman. Yes. Oh my. Okay, so clearly we have a winner, but we haven't started yet. I'm gonna pit you against each other to fill this wacky long intro. Martin, hit it and prepare to do what I say in a weird way. I'm gonna manipulate you because that's how it works. It's kind of like, oh wait, here we go, ready? Yes, that's good, okay. Give me some good stuff, y'all. donkey, he's a monkey. In fact, an ape to be precise. Yes, they say you can't go and play the bongo. Bananas are his one and only vice. And it tastes like bacon. Well, little ditty, he's just a kitty. I'm a little bitty monkey dude. And monkey candy, oh, she looking so fine. She got the hairy monkey move. Bananas, bananas, what bananas? Lemmings took them in the night. So bad guys score your nanner horde, and you really better boogaloo. You gotta get them back, you gotta get on track, cause it's on like you know who. Fly through jungles, mountains, caves, and the world's worst maintained mind. Come on and beat your chest on a face quest, and we'll have a real good time. Take it to the bridge, they changed his look, but kept his name. They changed his pal and changed his dame, but he came and changed the game. And the world was not the same. I'll break it down. Come on, swing through trees and live like bookies and shoot into the sky. Well, there's an ostrich who's got tennis shoes. What is that and why? I said stop, go. Previously with lizards abound. Well, there's no princess, it's a root-based quest, so let's all monkey around. But you get Rulies, a big green tool, got the goons all coming for you. You gotta take him down, declown the clown, but you gotta make it through his crew. You got beavers, vultures, giant bees, a demonic oil drum. Come on, beat your chest on a fruit-based quest, and we'll have a barrel of fun. Look out, old DK is back. Give it up for David Wise, who I stole that from.
In Norway, and you're all still just as tall and attractive as you've ever been. My name is Brent Black. I do videos and songs on the internet as Brental Floss. I add lyrics to video game music, even though no one asked for that, but I do it anyway, out of the goodness of my heart. You should know, parts of this show can be slightly adult, so if you have little ones and they know English, maybe think about taking a break, or are you just that cool of a mom? You decide. I have some things to discuss with you, Norway, before I get started. First off, I never realized my first 2 years how close you are to Russia. Slightly freaked out. Not quite as close as Donald Trump. Couple bones to pick with you. I know that you don't need to design everything around American tourism, but you might fix this one. The way that the word for apple juice and the word for orange juice are spelled. Here's why. I read apple juice. Oh, apple juice. Great, makes sense. Orange juice. Apples in juice. Who decided that? Help me out a little, okay? I'm like sitting there like in the morning just like, fuck it, I'll get the red smoothie. I don't know. Just forget it. You got weird names for things. We came, the VIP guests, we got to enjoy your national day. That was very exciting. And one of our hosts said that we were going to get a special Norwegian dish. It was kind of traditional, and he said it was kjøttkake. We don't know those vowels. We're like, shit cocky? You know, I think that the response was supposed to be like, yeah, thanks, this sounds great, but it was like, it would have been sort of like if he said, yes, this is called poop wiener, you know, like, I mean, it's a weird, it was delicious, by the way, but maybe just say meatballs next time, we'll be like, ah. Anyway, that's enough of my jokes. You may have noticed I'm a little dry. I've been talking to a bunch of you wonderful people for a good part of the day. Woke up with a bit of a sore throat, so just know I sound better than this on my albums, which there are still some for sale. Are you ready to hear some video games with lyrics? All right. I love you so much in all of my parts. This first song is about medicine. Yes, it's a great career, but also Mario probably shouldn't be involved. He's a plumber, not a doctor. And actually, is he a plumber? I've never seen him unclog one drain. He is the fucking plumber. Anyway, something for you to think about. Before we start, I want to just give a round of applause to two people, both the sound guy, Ingva, and the person running video in the back, Martin. Just real quick, a round of applause, because they're going to make me sound and look slightly better than normal. All right, Martin, you can go ahead and hit it. This is Dr. Mario with lyrics, if you know where to sing along. All right, we're already partway into the song. I'm going to just do some commentary on it. And in the mushroom kingdom, I'm the finest of my heart. I got my degree by watching thousands of them eat on brightly colored fields. They'll cure all your ills, and just as long as you got fever or feet chills, or take off your pants. Oh, good. Now let's see. Turn your head and cough. Okay, now do me. Please, does it hurt to pee? Is it hard to see? I am diagnosing you with HPV. You've got mononucleosis, halitosis, scoliosis, 15 days is my prognosis. You need red and blue pill doses. Scabies, phlebitis, chronic rabies, hepatitis. You'll be brave and you'll unite us. Then you'll all get meningitis. Wait. I'm wrong. You have crabs. Sorry. Brightly colored pills. They'll cure all your ills. Just as long as you got fever. I'm so pretty. Dr. Mario. The end. Thanks, everybody. All right. This song is about ducks. Yes, ducks in outer space from the days afternoon to the still got it. Uncle Scrooge, you need a suit out there. How the fuck are you alive? You need heat, also air. I said that's gotta be one expensive cane. You part up on the moon, looking for treasure you gotta save. Oh, crazy, duck in space. You're really greedy and you're old. You got a creepy Scottish accent, dude, and you bathe in gold. Sodomy, the ending credits theme. It's a soaring sound, flying high like a dream. But it was used as a level 2 wound, underscoring the life of an R-word mallard on the fucking moon. Oh, crazy, duck in space. I hope you keep me in the whale. You could buy and say, put it on my bill, you're a duck, oh my god. You've been on every single continent from Africa to Asia to cold Antarctica. I always thought that that's too far away in wintertime, but you took it way too far, Antarctica. Changing up the song now, I'm sailing away. Set an open course for the Virgin Sea. I don't even know what this is. Get out of here. Cause I've got to be free. Skipping to the end, don't try to sing along. Stereo. Super califragilistic crazy. Duck in space. Your nephew's missed you, please go back. I keep on the fighting gold and jewels. Just lay off for the quack of the quack. A pun about ducks. Scrooge McDuck, you're hell yes. Scrooge McDuck, you're on the moon. Thank you guys so much. I've been Bruno Voss. You've been amazing. Stick around for the next episode.
Og vi er så sykt lenge siden vi har spillet på Expo også. Takk til fantastiske mennesker her. Jeg må bare be min kjære tekniker om å gi meg en monitor av meg selv. Og så skal vi spille en liten klassiker for dere. Som det er.
Thank you.